Princess Zara pressed her 4 hands against the cold metal table in front of her. The marriage contract lay open, waiting for her signature. Around her, the neutral space station hummed with activity. Diplomats from both sides watched her every move. Her heart pounded so hard she thought everyone could hear it. The war had lasted 3 years. 3 long years of battles between her people, the Kethrans, and the humans of the Terran Federation. Ships destroyed, planets damaged, thousands dead on both sides. Her father, Emperor Valdak, had grown desperate. The human forces proved harder to defeat than anyone expected. The humans fight like wild animals, her military advisors had told her. They show no mercy. They never surrender. Our only choice is to make peace before they destroy us all. So here she was, about to marry a human stranger to end the bloodshed. Zara looked up as the human delegation entered the room. She expected to see fierce warriors with battle scars and cruel eyes. Instead, she saw a group of people who looked almost ordinary. They wore clean blue uniforms and walked calmly. At the front stood a man with dark hair and kind brown eyes. "Princess Zara," said the lead human diplomat. "May I present Commander Ben Torres, your intended husband." Ben stepped forward and bowed politely. He spoke in perfect Kethran language. "Princess, I am honored to meet you. I hope we can find peace together." Zara stared at him. This was the savage warrior she had feared. He looked like he might apologize for stepping on a flower. His voice was gentle. His smile seemed genuine, not the cruel grin she expected from a human killer. "You speak our language," she said, surprised. "I have been studying it for 6 months," Ben replied. "I wanted to be able to communicate with you properly. I know this situation is difficult for you." The ceremony began immediately. Both sides wanted to finish quickly before anyone changed their minds. Zara signed her name with shaking hands. Ben signed next to her, his writing neat and careful. When the papers were complete, they exchanged traditional gifts. Ben offered her a small blue flower from Earth. "It is called a forget-me-not," he explained. "On my world, it means true memory and faithful love. I hope that even though we start as strangers, we might find real friendship." Zara accepted the flower, confused by his kindness. Her people had told her humans gave gifts only to trick their enemies. The official ceremony ended with traditional words from both cultures. Zara and Ben were now married according to both human and Kethran law. The war between their peoples would stop immediately. Ships would return to their home systems. Peace would begin. As they left the station together, Zara felt completely lost. Nothing happened the way she expected. Ben walked beside her, not ahead like Kethran males usually did. He asked if she was comfortable. He wanted to know if she needed anything before their journey to Earth. "Are you not going to command me?" she asked finally. Ben looked confused. "Command you? Why would I do that?" "Because I am your wife now. Because humans take what they want by force." Ben stopped walking. He turned to face her, his expression serious but still kind. "Princess Zara, I think there have been many misunderstandings between our peoples. I would never command you to do anything. You are my equal partner now, not my property. I hope we can learn about each other and build trust." On the transport ship heading to Earth, Zara watched everything with careful attention. The human crew treated Ben with obvious respect, but not fear. They joked with him during meals. They asked his opinion about ship matters. When problems arose, they worked together to solve them without anyone shouting orders. Even more surprising, the crew included her in their conversations. They asked about her home world. They wanted to know about Kethran culture and food. Some had learned basic Kethran phrases just to make her feel welcome. "How long have you been fighting?" she asked Ben one evening as they sat in the ship's observation room, watching stars pass by. "I joined the military 8 years ago," Ben answered. But I have only been in combat for the last 3 years, since the war started. Do you enjoy battle? Ben was quiet for a long moment. No, Princess. I hate it. Every person who dies in war is someone's child, parent, or friend. I became a soldier to protect people, not to hurt them. This marriage, this peace we are making, it is the most important thing I have ever done. But your people are famous warriors. The whole galaxy fears human military might. Fear is not the same as respect, Ben said softly. I would rather people trust us than fear us. During their journey, Zara noticed other passengers on the ship. Several alien species traveled with them, including some whose home worlds had fought humans in previous conflicts. But these aliens seemed comfortable around the human crew. They shared meals together. They laughed at the same jokes. She overheard a conversation between 2 Velkan ambassadors in the dining area. Velkans had fought a war against humans 5 years earlier. The human problem continues to grow, one Velkan said in their own language. He did not know Zara understood Velkan. Problem? Asked the other. They win hearts faster than they win battles. Look around this ship. Former enemies eating at the same table. Velkan children playing with human children in the recreation area. It is unnatural. Perhaps it is better than constant war. That is exactly the problem. They make you want to join them instead of fight them. Very dangerous strategy. Zara found this conversation very strange. How could friendship be dangerous? As they approached Earth, Ben showed her images of the planet on the ship's screens. She saw blue oceans, green continents, and white clouds. It looked peaceful, not like the home of fierce warriors. My family lives in a city called San Diego, Ben explained. It is near the ocean. I think you will like the sound of waves. Very calming. Will your family accept me? They are excited to meet you. My mother has been cooking traditional foods from your world. She found recipes in the cultural database. My sister bought new clothes that follow Kethran customs of modesty. They want you to feel at home. Zara felt more confused than ever. Everything about humans contradicted what she had been told. They seemed gentle, thoughtful, and welcoming. But everyone in the galaxy said humans were the most dangerous species in known space. As their ship entered Earth's atmosphere, Zara made a decision. She would watch very carefully during her time on Earth. She would learn the truth about humans. There had to be a reason why other species feared them so much. Ben squeezed her hand gently as the ship descended toward the landing pad. Welcome to Earth, Princess Zara, he said. I hope you will be happy here. Looking into his kind eyes, Zara almost believed she might be. The ship touched down with barely a vibration. Through the windows, Zara could see a crowd of humans waiting to greet them. They carried flowers and colorful banners with messages of welcome written in both English and Kethran. Children waved small flags from both worlds. Are those your people? She asked Ben. Some are my family and friends, he replied. But most are just citizens who wanted to welcome you to Earth. They are excited about peace between our peoples. As they prepared to leave the ship, Zara took a deep breath. Her new life was about to begin. She would learn the truth about humans, whatever it might be. She had no idea that the truth would be far more surprising than anything she could imagine. The crowd outside the ship amazed Zara. Hundreds of humans had gathered to welcome her to Earth. They held flowers and colorful signs with messages written in both English and Kethran script. Children waved small flags, their faces bright with excitement. Some adults carried banners that said, Welcome Princess Zara, and, Peace Between Worlds. As Zara and Ben walked down the ship's ramp, the crowd began to cheer. The sound frightened her at first. She had expected humans to be quiet and serious, like soldiers. Instead, they seemed joyful and warm. Why are they so happy? She asked Ben. Because war is over, he replied. Because we can be friends now instead of enemies. An elderly human woman stepped forward. She had gray hair and kind eyes that reminded Zara of her own grandmother. The woman spoke in careful Catherine words. "Welcome to Earth, Princess. I am Maria Torres, Ben's mother. We are honored to have you in our family." Maria offered Zara a basket filled with fruits and flowers from Earth. Everything was arranged beautifully, showing great care and thought. Zara accepted the gift, still surprised by the genuine warmth in the woman's voice. "Thank you," Zara managed to say. "Your Catherine is very good." "I have been studying for months," Maria smiled. "I wanted to speak with you in your own language. Come, let us go home. I have prepared a feast to celebrate your arrival." During the ride to Ben's family home, Zara watched the city through the vehicle windows. San Diego looked nothing like the military bases she expected to see on a warrior planet. Instead, she saw parks filled with playing children, markets where different alien species shopped together, and schools where human and non-human students learned side by side. "How many different species live here?" she asked. "In this city alone, about 40 different species call Earth home," Ben answered. "Some came as refugees from wars. Others came for trade or education. Some just decided they liked living here." They passed a playground where human children played with young aliens from at least 6 different worlds. Parents from various species sat on benches nearby, talking and laughing together. Zara had never seen anything like it. Ben's home surprised her even more. It was a simple house with a garden full of colorful flowers. Nothing looked military or threatening. Inside, the walls displayed pictures of Ben's family mixed with artwork from different alien cultures. Zara recognized pieces from worlds across the galaxy. "We collect art from places Ben has visited," Maria explained. "Each piece tells a story about friendship between peoples." That evening, Maria served a feast that included traditional Catherine dishes alongside Earth foods. She had spent weeks learning to cook Zara's favorite meals from cultural databases. The taste was almost perfect, showing incredible attention to detail. "This is amazing," Zara said, tears forming in her eyes. "It tastes just like home." "Food brings people together," Maria said. "When we share meals, we share hearts." Over the following days, Ben showed Zara around the city. They visited hospitals where human doctors worked to cure diseases that affected dozens of alien species. They toured research centers where scientists from many worlds collaborated on projects to improve life across the galaxy. They went to schools where human teachers helped refugee children learn new languages and skills. Everywhere they went, Zara saw the same pattern. Humans helping others, not for profit or power, but simply because they believed it was right. When she asked why they did these things, the answers were always simple. Because they needed help. Because it was the right thing to do. Because everyone deserves a chance at happiness. One afternoon, they visited an aid center for war refugees. Ben volunteered there every week, teaching displaced children how to read. Zara watched him sit on the floor with a group of young aliens, patiently helping them sound out words in various languages. His face lit up every time a child succeeded in reading a sentence. "Why do you do this?" Zara asked him later. "These children lost everything because of wars they did not start," Ben replied. "If I can help them build better futures, then maybe fewer wars will happen." "But you gain nothing from helping them." Ben looked confused. "I gain everything from helping them. When children have hope, the whole galaxy becomes a better place." That evening, they attended a formal dinner with Earth's leadership and visiting alien ambassadors. Zara found herself seated between the Andromedan ambassador and a representative from the Spiral Confederation. Both species had fought wars against humans in the past. During the meal, she overheard a quiet conversation between 2 Zephyrian diplomats at the next table. They spoke in their own language, not knowing that Zara understood Zephyrian. "The human situation grows more concerning each year," said the first diplomat. "How so?" asked the second. Look around this room. Former enemies sitting as honored guests. War refugees treated like family. They transform conquest into friendship so naturally that most species do not even realize it is happening. Perhaps that is better than endless conflict. That is exactly the problem. They make you want to join them instead of defeat them. Very unsettling strategy. No empire knows how to fight an enemy that refuses to hate you back. Zara listened with growing fascination. The Zephyrians sounded worried, but not about human violence. They seemed concerned about human kindness. My intelligence reports indicate they have turned 17 former enemy worlds into willing allies, continued the first diplomat. Not through force or threats, but through aid programs and cultural exchange. Extremely dangerous approach. Dangerous how? Because it works. Because once you accept their help, you start to trust them. Once you trust them, you want to be like them. Once you want to be like them, you have already lost any war you might fight against them. Later that night, Zara asked Ben about this conversation. Is it true that humans turn enemies into friends? Ben thought carefully before answering. We try to understand why people fight us. Usually, there are good reasons. Maybe their planet lacks resources we could share. Maybe they fear we want to conquer them. Maybe past misunderstandings created anger. When we address the real problems, fighting often becomes unnecessary. But other species call this dangerous. Perhaps because it requires them to change how they think about conflict. Some leaders prefer simple enemies to complicated friends. The next day, Zara visited a memorial park dedicated to human soldiers who had died in various wars. She expected to find monuments celebrating victory and conquest. Instead, she found gardens with plaques honoring both human and alien lives lost in conflicts. Each memorial included messages of hope for future peace. An elderly human man tended the flowers near one monument. When Zara approached, he looked up with sad but kind eyes. My son died in the Centauri conflict 10 years ago, he said quietly. But I tend this memorial for all the young people who died, human and alien both. War takes the best from every species. Do you hate the aliens who caused his death? Zara asked. The man was quiet for a moment. I did, for a while. But hatred only creates more war. Now I work with Centauri families who also lost children. We teach young people about the real cost of conflict. Together, we prevent new wars. That evening, Ben took Zara to the ocean shore. They walked along the beach as the sun set over the water. The sound of waves was indeed calming, just as Ben had promised. Your people confuse me, Zara said finally. Everyone in the galaxy says humans are the most dangerous warriors. But all I see is kindness. We are dangerous, Ben replied. But not in the way most people think. What do you mean? Ben picked up a smooth stone and skipped it across the water. We are dangerous because we refuse to give up. Not on ourselves, not on our friends, and not even on our enemies. We believe every species, every person, has the potential for good. That belief makes us very hard to defeat. How does belief make you dangerous? Because when you truly believe people can change, you keep trying to help them change. You offer aid instead of surrender terms. You build schools instead of prisons. You turn battlefields into gardens. Other species do not know how to fight against hope. Zara watched the waves for a long time, thinking about everything she had seen and heard. Slowly, she began to understand why the galaxy feared humans. Not because they were cruel, but because they were relentlessly kind. Not because they conquered, but because they inspired. As they walked back toward the city, Zara noticed something she had missed before. Every streetlight, every building, every public space was designed to welcome different species. Signs appeared in multiple languages. Architecture accommodated various alien physical needs. Even the air recycling systems could handle different atmospheric requirements. "How long has Earth been like this?" she asked. "We started changing after our first contact with alien species 60 years ago," Ben explained. "We realized that if we wanted to explore the galaxy, we had to make room for the galaxy to explore us too." That night, as Zara lay in the comfortable bed Maria had prepared for her, she finally understood what made humans so formidable. They won wars not by destroying their enemies, but by convincing their enemies to become their friends. They conquered not through force, but through persistent kindness. It was indeed a very dangerous strategy, because it was almost impossible to resist. 3 weeks into Zara's stay on Earth, everything changed in a single morning. She woke to the sound of alarms echoing across San Diego. Ben was already dressed and moving quickly around their room. "What is happening?" she asked, sitting up in bed. "Raider attack on Colony 7, Ben replied, pulling on his uniform. "It is a farming settlement about 2 hours from here. We need to go help immediately." Zara had heard about the raiders. They were groups of criminals from various species who attacked peaceful settlements to steal supplies. Most governments considered them a minor problem, not worth serious military response. "Surely the local authorities can handle a few raiders," she said. Ben stopped and looked at her with an expression she had never seen before. His usual gentle demeanor was gone, replaced by fierce determination. "Princess, there are 8,000 people on that colony, including 1,500 children. No one is just anything when lives are at stake." Within an hour, they were aboard a transport ship heading toward Colony 7. Zara watched in amazement as the ship filled with volunteers. Not just soldiers, but doctors, teachers, engineers, and ordinary citizens. Maria Torres climbed aboard carrying medical supplies. The elderly man from the memorial park brought emergency food rations. Even teenagers too young to fight came along to help with evacuation if needed. "Do all these people know someone on the colony?" Zara asked Ben. "Most have never been there," he replied. "But that does not matter. People need help." As their ship approached Colony 7, Zara could see smoke rising from several buildings. The raiders had arrived in force, much larger than usual attacks. 3 alien warships circled the settlement like hunting predators. "This is more serious than normal raids," Ben said, studying the tactical display. "Someone organized this attack. They want to destroy the colony, not just steal from it." The human response amazed Zara. Without any central command, the volunteer ships arranged themselves into efficient rescue patterns. Medical teams prepared to treat wounded. Engineers readied equipment to repair damaged buildings. Teachers organized safe areas for frightened children. When they landed, Zara saw something that would change her understanding of humanity forever. The colonists were not cowering in fear or waiting for rescue. Instead, they had organized their own defense. Farmers carried hunting rifles and stood guard over evacuation routes. Shopkeepers directed traffic to keep roads clear for emergency vehicles. Elderly residents cared for injured neighbors while younger people fought the fires started by raider weapons. How did they organize so quickly? Zara asked in wonder. They did not need to organize, Ben replied, helping carry medical supplies toward the main settlement. Every human learns basic emergency response as a child. When crisis happens, we just do what needs to be done. Zara followed Ben toward the center of the colony, where the heaviest damage had occurred. The main community building was burning, but she could see people forming bucket lines to save neighboring structures. No one panicked. No one ran away. They just worked together with calm efficiency. Then she witnessed something that would haunt her dreams and change her life forever. A group of raider soldiers had cornered a family of Kethran refugees near the collapsed school building. The family included an elderly grandmother, 2 adult parents, and 3 young children. They had come to Colony 7 seeking safety after fleeing their war-torn homeworld. The raiders were preparing to capture the family when a group of human colonists intervened. There were only 6 humans against 12 well-armed raiders. The humans carried farming tools and basic weapons. They were completely outgunned. But they charged anyway. Zara watched in shock as ordinary farmers and teachers fought desperately to protect a family they barely knew. A woman named Lisa, who taught at the local school, used a pitchfork to hold off two raiders while shouting for the Catherine family to run. An old man named Frank, who grew vegetables for the colony market, stood between the children and raider weapons despite being shot in the shoulder. "They are going to die," Zara whispered. "Maybe," Ben said grimly, moving forward to help. "But they will die protecting innocent people. That is what makes them human." The battle was brief but fierce. The human colonists could not win against superior firepower, but they bought enough time for the Catherine family to escape. When reinforcements arrived, 3 humans lay wounded and 2 were dead. But the family was safe. As medical teams treated the injured, Zara knelt beside Lisa, who had severe burns on her arms from a raider weapon. "Why did you do that?" Zara asked. "Those were not your people. You barely knew them." Lisa looked up with pain-filled but determined eyes. "They were people. That is enough." Over the following hours, Zara witnessed scene after scene that redefined her understanding of human nature. She watched teenagers risk their lives to rescue trapped animals from burning barns. She saw elderly humans share their last water rations with injured raiders who had been attacking them moments before. She observed doctors working for 18 straight hours to save lives, treating enemies with the same care as friends. Most surprising of all, she watched the colonists immediately begin rebuilding. Before the fires were completely out, before the wounded were fully treated, they were already planning new buildings and discussing how to make the colony stronger. "How can you rebuild so quickly?" she asked Ben as they helped clear debris from the damaged school. "Because this is our home," he replied simply. "Raiders can burn our buildings and hurt our people, but they cannot break our spirit. Tomorrow we will be stronger than we were yesterday." That evening, as emergency shelters were being erected and families reunited, something remarkable happened. The captured raiders were brought to the colony center for processing. Zara expected to see anger and calls for revenge from the colonists. Instead, she watched human doctors treat the raiders' wounds. She saw colonists offer food to their former attackers. She observed children bringing water to the very people who had destroyed their school. "This is impossible," muttered one of the captured raiders, a Vraxian warrior with blue scales and fierce yellow eyes. "You should hate us. We attacked your homes. We killed your people. Why do you show mercy?" An elderly human woman named Sarah answered him. She had lost her house in the attack but was helping serve food to everyone, including prisoners. "Because hatred only creates more hatred," she said gently. "Because someone must choose to break the cycle of violence. Because you are someone's son, and your mother would want you to come home safely." The Vraxian raider stared at her in confusion. Tears began to form in his yellow eyes. "I do not understand your species," he whispered. "You will," Sarah replied, offering him a bowl of soup. "In time, you will." Late that night, Zara sat in the communication center of the colony and composed a message to her father, Emperor Valdak. Her hands shook as she typed words that would change the relationship between their empires forever. "Father," she wrote, "I have discovered why no empire dares to truly challenge humanity. It is not because they are the fiercest warriors, though they fight bravely when they must. It is not because they have the strongest weapons, though their technology is advanced. It is because they are impossible to defeat in any way that matters." She paused, watching through the window as humans and aliens worked together to repair the damage from the attack. "They do not conquer enemies, Father. They turn enemies into friends. They do not rule through fear. They lead through inspiration. They do not seek revenge when attacked. They offer healing to their attackers. This makes them the most dangerous species in the galaxy, because you cannot win a war against people who refuse to hate you." Zara continued typing, her fingers moving faster as understanding flooded through her. Every species that has fought humans has eventually joined them willingly. Not because they were forced to surrender, but because humans showed them a better way to live. The Centauri Federation, the Spiral Alliance, the Reformed Hegemony, all were once human enemies. Now they are human friends, and they are stronger for it. She looked across the room where Ben was helping coordinate relief supplies. His uniform was dirty and torn from the day's rescue work. His face showed exhaustion, but his eyes still held kindness. I married Ben Torres to end a war between our peoples. But I have learned something wonderful, Father. I love him. Not because I must, but because I choose to. He has shown me what humans truly are, a species that believes every person can become better than they were yesterday. This belief makes them unstoppable. As Zara finished her message, she realized that everything had changed. She was no longer a Kethran princess married to a human for political reasons. She was a bridge between worlds, a symbol of what could happen when different species chose cooperation over conflict. The next morning brought news that would reshape galactic politics. The Raider attack on Colony 7 had not been random. It was organized by the Dominion Empire, which hoped to restart the war between humans and Kethrans. The plan failed completely. Instead of creating division, the attack united both species in shared purpose. Kethran volunteers arrived to help rebuild the colony. Human engineers traveled to Kethran space to assist with war reconstruction. The bond between their peoples grew stronger than any formal treaty could have made it. Ben found Zara standing in the ruins of the school, watching human and Kethran children play together despite the destruction around them. "Do you regret marrying me?" he asked quietly. Zara turned to him with tears of joy in her eyes. "I regret that we began as strangers forced together by war. But I am grateful that we have become partners who choose to stand together in peace." She took his hands in all four of hers. "Ben Torres, you and your people have taught me the most important lesson in the galaxy. The strongest force in the universe is not gravity or nuclear energy or quantum fields. It is hope. Hope that tomorrow can be better than today. Hope that enemies can become friends. Hope that love can overcome hatred." As they kissed among the rebuilding ruins, surrounded by people of many species working together to create something better, Zara finally understood why humanity was truly unstoppable. They did not just survive setbacks. They transformed setbacks into opportunities. They did not just endure attacks. They used attacks as chances to demonstrate their values. They did not just make peace with enemies. They made enemies want to become family.